We know that rabbits are very good at hiding pain, injury, and illness. They're so good at it, I call it their superpower. But there's one problem that comes with that type of a superpower. By the time the rabbit needs help, the symptoms can already be very serious or even near fatal. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a few of the signs, some subtle and some not so subtle, that your rabbit may be injured or sick. Near the end of the video, I'll give you some of my tips that have helped me over all these years. I'm going to offer a quick reminder and a disclaimer. Though I have many years of experience rehabilitating and otherwise working with animals in need on a daily basis, I am not a veterinarian. Most people who have years of hands-on experience caring for rabbits day in and day out aren't veterinarians. And because I focus so much on the little personalities of rabbits, you might not realize that some of the rabbits in my care have permanent cognitive issues, or they just came to me abnormal in some way. If you even suspect something is going on with your rabbit, something might be wrong, contact a rabbit-savvy veterinarian as soon as possible. No information I share should replace expert veterinary advice. Let's get started with the topic of why rabbits hide illness. Because rabbits are prey animals, they do everything possible not to show weakness. They hide illnesses and they hide injuries to the very best of their ability. It's helpful to study rabbits in the wild, even though your rabbit's a domestic rabbit. The base nature of these animals is still intact, and so are their instincts. As rabbit owners, it helps to learn as much as possible about them and why they behave the way they do when they're not feeling their best. In the wild, injury or illness makes them a target for predators. Their instinct is to act like everything's fine, even when it's not. Learning about instincts, biology, and normal behaviors will help us identify problems when they arise. On the other hand, even experienced veterinarians sometimes have a hard time diagnosing problems in rabbits. Since rabbits can't speak our language, we have to learn theirs. As rabbit owners and caretakers, we learn to pay attention to the smallest changes. When a rabbit's health starts to decline, a series of cascading health events can occur very quickly, so we have to pay careful attention. Learn your rabbit's normal. We need to know what normal looks like so that when we see something that's abnormal, we recognize it and we can take action. Two important things rabbit owners should do early on. First, find a rabbit-savvy veterinarian in your area or as close to you as possible. Start your rabbit on well-check visits. When you do that, the veterinarian is a professional set of eyes. They have expertise in biology, safe medications, surgeries, and otherwise troubleshooting symptoms. Veterinarians can document a baseline for your rabbit so that if something does go wrong in the future, it'll be much easier to diagnose. Veterinarians get to know their patients and they care for them. So introduce your rabbit to his doctor early on. Second, learn what normal looks like for your rabbit. Observe your furry friend. Learn as much as you can. Today, it's easier than it was even 10 years ago. Credible information is available online, published by people who have long-term experience caring for different breeds and sizes of these animals in a compassionate home setting. In other words, you become the expert for your furry friend. People who have a lot of experience with rabbits don't just watch these animals for obvious illnesses or injuries. We watch for changes in behavior, eating, eliminating, or pooping. We want to watch for anything that's outside the norm for this specific rabbit. It might feel like a chore at first, but with time and good habits, these at-home well checks will become second nature for you. Careful observation becomes part of the rhythm of your daily life. It's easier to immediately identify problems as they arise. Let's go through a few of the key areas you can be checking on every single day. Feces and urine. This is one of the easiest and most important ways to monitor your rabbit's health. You should be checking the litter box in the morning and at night. It might sound strange to do that, but you'll quickly get into the habit. Remember, rabbits are sensitive and fragile animals. It doesn't take long for things to go wrong in a really big way. Getting in the habit of monitoring litter box habits is necessary so you can intervene before things get very serious. When monitoring litter box habits, you should see normal round droppings day and night, lots of them. Depending on what type of litter box materials you use, you'll know exactly what day of the week the litter box has to be completely emptied, cleaned, and reset. It should be that consistent. You also want to look for regular urinating. Rabbits need access to fresh hay, which is nutrient-rich dried grass, 24 hours a day, but they also need constant access to plenty of fresh water. Urinating should reflect that they are, in fact, drinking enough water. The water dish should go down each day, and you should have to refill it. And the litter box naturally will become heavier because the rabbit is eliminating properly. These may seem like simple things, but they are very important. There are warning signs to watch for. These warning signs include diarrhea, overproduction of cecotropes, droppings or poops that are too small, droppings that are stuck together with fur like a long string of these round poops. Watch for blood, mucus, or anything unusual in the droppings. Finally, if you see a sudden decrease of poops overall or it stops altogether, that's a warning sign. If your rabbit's poop slows down or stops, it might be an intestinal blockage, or it could be gastrointestinal stasis, the silent killer of rabbits. It might be another serious health issue. You should always consider these problems to be life-threatening. If you see that your bunny is not eliminating properly or is not pooping at all, call your veterinarian and get your rabbit in for an urgent appointment. Just a word about this topic. Experienced rabbit owners who deal with intestinal issues like recurring GI stasis, they might have tips like gentle belly rubs. They might do other things at home to get the rabbit's gut moving again so the rabbit starts eating and pooping. Everything normalizes. Though I have a lot of experience in that area, I don't share those specific methods. I always recommend that despite online information, you take your rabbit to the veterinarian if you see these warning signs. Maybe it is a blockage, or maybe it's GI stasis, or maybe it's something entirely different that you would never know without the intervention of a trained veterinarian. The next thing is watching breathing, temperature, and heart rate for your bunny. You don't need to obsess over the numbers daily, but you should know them and understand what's normal for rabbits. The normal body temperature for your rabbit should be between about 101.3 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 39.6 to 40 degrees Celsius. It's a bit higher than us humans. Rabbit temperatures can fluctuate slightly due to illness, injury, stress, or even environmental conditions. With regard to the rabbit's environment, the ideal comfort zone is about 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or 15 to 18 degrees Celsius. These numbers can vary slightly from source to source, but staying in that range is generally considered comfortable for your rabbit. Remember, your rabbit has a fur coat that he can't take off when he gets too warm. A safe for rabbit range, and this isn't perfect comfort, it's just a safe range, typically ranges between 59 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. It's not always ideal for the rabbit, it's just considered the safe zone. Temperatures that are below 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius is too cold and it can be dangerous for rabbits. Temperatures that are above 77 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 degrees Celsius is too hot. Remember that fur coat. That can add 20 to 25 degrees to a rabbit's body temperature immediately. Those temperatures should be considered extreme for rabbits, and they can cause heat stress. Remember, body temperature is typically the key indicator of a rabbit's comfort zone. A rabbit's ears are part of their thermoregulation system. Many blood vessels are in a rabbit's ears, and they're close to the surface. Rabbits cannot sweat like us humans do. So those ears, they help regulate temperature. Rabbits such as Flemish giants have large ears that stand up. It's much easier to see the blood vessels doing their job and regulating heat. But all rabbit ears typically feel warm to the touch. Sometimes they can even feel a little bit hot. Regardless whether your rabbit has stand-up ears or the ears are down like in lop rabbits, pay attention to hot ears, especially if other symptoms are present. Hot ears don't always mean there's a problem. It could be that the rabbit is warmer than usual. Maybe he just got through exercising, or it might be caused by stress, or the rabbit might just be too warm for his environment in that moment. If the rabbit's too warm and his ears are getting hot, move the rabbit into an environment that's a bit cooler and more comfortable. Conversely, hot ears might also be an indicator of a problem like fever, infection, heat stress, or ear mites. Ear infections can be caused by bacteria, fungi, mites, or something else entirely. It causes the rabbits to shake his head often. There might be swelling, discharge, or redness, or there might not be. The rabbit might not want to eat. He might not be pooping normally, and he might be lethargic. Hot ears can also indicate some kind of internal problem or unseen infection. Persistent hot ears should be a warning sign, depending on the environmental conditions and other symptoms being present. This is a case where it's helpful to be observant with your rabbit. Know what normal looks like. The same applies to a rabbit with very cold ears. It's best to take your rabbit to the veterinarian if either of those extremes are present. If your rabbit's breathing is not normal, it's urgent. Call your veterinarian immediately. The next topic is eating and drinking. Healthy rabbits eat throughout the day and throughout the night. Rabbits typically get excited when it's time for meals, pellets and greens. In between their scheduled meals, they should be consistently nibbling on hay. That's normal for rabbits. Rabbits eat hay consistently day and night. It helps keep a rabbit's gastrointestinal system moving properly. Warning signs to watch for would include not eating, not drinking water, or ignoring their treats and favorite foods entirely. Even skipping food for a short time can become dangerous for these animals. As previously discussed, if your rabbit's refusing food, that's a warning sign. Take your rabbit to the veterinarian before a series of cascading health events starts to occur. Another topic is tooth grinding. There's an important distinction between the types of tooth grinding. That soft, quiet tooth grinding while the rabbit is being petted, that's normal. It's the rabbit's version of purring. We usually associate purring with cats, but rabbits do it too. This kind of tooth grinding is healthy and normal. It's something you want to see. On the other hand, loud or harsh grinding, that's different. That usually means pain or discomfort. If you see this type of hard tooth grinding, the rabbit's saying he's suffering in some way. Along with louder tooth grinding, you might also notice symptoms like restlessness, hiding, the rabbit not wanting to interact with you, not eating, or just overall lethargy. These are strong signals that something is wrong with your rabbit. The next topic is drooling or the rabbit having a wet chin. If your rabbit's chin is wet and you know it's not from drinking water, this could indicate dental problems. Dental problems can be more serious with rabbits than you might think. It might also be a different problem, something you can't see. Dental issues can quickly affect eating, which again leads to bigger problems. This is a warning for you. The rabbit needs veterinary attention. Another thing to watch for is head tilt or balance issues. If your rabbit's tilting its head to the side, if he seems off balance, or even if he's struggling to move normally, this is an indication that something is wrong. It might just be an ear infection. It could be a neurological issue. It might be something else entirely. Those symptoms may or may not be accompanied by additional symptoms like disorientation or some other not normal for rabbit symptom. Take them to the veterinarian immediately. The next thing is injury or obvious bleeding. If you see that your rabbit is bleeding or has cuts or other visible injuries, or if your rabbit's unable to stand up or hop normally, if he's limping or otherwise not moving around properly, all of this could indicate serious injury. Treat this as an emergency and call the veterinarian. Remember, rabbits suffer in silence. They do their best to hide these injuries. They hide pain and they hide illness. Whatever's going on in that moment has overridden the rabbit's ability to hide it from you. Visible symptoms are your warning sign to call the veterinarian now. Another thing to watch for is lethargy. A lethargic rabbit may seem unusually quiet. He might feel limp when you go to lift him. He may not react normally, or he just might want to hide all the time. This could be caused by dehydration or illness. It might be caused by pain from some kind of unseen injury, disease, or infection, or it could be something else. A dehydrated rabbit can actually look like he has a broken spine. He might drag his legs behind him or even be unable to move much. Dehydration can happen quickly with rabbits, and the symptoms are not always the same. Some look extreme, but some are not as obvious. There are videos from trained veterinarians and staff to teach you how to properly syringe feed a rabbit. However, if you put water or food down the wrong place inside a rabbit's mouth, he could choke, aspirate, or die. Even if it's dehydration, something caused the rabbit to stop drinking water, and you need to know what that is. Veterinarians can show you a safe process for helping in these situations when you're at home. But go see the veterinarian. It's best to get the rabbit in as soon as possible. Another symptom to watch for is limping or decreased activity. Pay attention if you see your rabbit limping, avoiding movement, or if he stops hopping or running entirely. Pain can lead to not eating, not drinking, and that rapid decline in a rabbit's biological systems. Early treatment of these problems will prevent bigger problems. See a veterinarian immediately. Another symptom or topic is fly strike. This is critical, need to know information. It's one of the most serious conditions. Contrary to trending information about never letting a rabbit outside for outdoor playtime, flies get into homes too. Fly strike is what happens when flies lay eggs on the rabbit, and you won't even know this has occurred until symptoms appear. By then, the rabbit's suffering. You might see your rabbit's fur become moist, or you might see dirty areas on your rabbit. And eventually, if it's fly strike, you'll see the wounds on the rabbit. This is a terrible thing to see and horrible suffering for any rabbit. Fly eggs turn into maggots, and those maggots begin attacking the rabbit's body from the inside where they hatch. This can happen if you don't keep the rabbit's living space clean. You have a much higher risk of flies hiding and laying eggs if the environment is filthy. If your rabbit has a messy bottom due to overproduction of ecotropes that stick to the rabbit's fur and can't be consumed, or if your rabbit just has a messy hind end or messy bottom or fur that's stuck together due to diarrhea or loose regular poops, all of that messiness, flies will be attracted to. See a veterinarian. As discussed repeatedly in this video, symptoms are warning signs that your rabbit needs help. In the case of fly strike, you might even see the maggots. You can carefully remove the ones that are visible, but do not rely on resolving this problem yourself. This condition requires immediate veterinary care. It's always urgent. Do not bathe your rabbit. You will only lower his defenses and his stress levels will rise even higher than they already are. If you even suspect your rabbit has fly strike, veterinary visit is urgent. This is an emergency. I know this feels like a lot of information, and when it comes to rabbits, there's no shortage of things to learn. We're learning more all the time, in fact. In addition to what I discuss in this video, there are many other issues that these warning signs might be caused by. The goal here isn't to memorize everything that can go wrong. The goal is to train yourself to be aware and to make observation part of your normal routine. Just by having your rabbit over time, you're going to learn when things are not quite right. And that'll tell you to take a closer look. Remember, take warning signs seriously. It could save your rabbit from a lot of unnecessary suffering and likely save you money on high veterinary bills. Early action can also save you from having to experience the loss of your pet rabbit. The earlier you catch a serious problem, the better your rabbit's chances of recovering. So what can you do? As promised, here are a few tips that have helped me be successful caring for these animals over the years. I have so many other happy rabbit tips I could share, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to share a few. These are things you can make part of your daily routine. They fit seamlessly into the care you're already providing your pet rabbit. My first tip is to implement observational well checks using meal times. One of the things I always recommend has to do with feeding schedules. Rabbits should have unlimited access to long strand hay and fresh water. We already know that. They should also have a small amount of greens and high quality pellets each day if you choose to use pellets. Rather than just giving your rabbit one big salad each day, split that amount of daily greens in half. Also, if you use pellets, high quality pellets, split that in half also and serve it with the salad. Serve the smaller salad with pellets in the morning at the same time each day. And serve the other small salad with pellets in the evening at the same time each evening. The reason I've always fed salads and pellets on a strict schedule twice per day rather than one time is you have a built-in observational well check at home. Your rabbit should be excited to eat his daily meals. If he's not excited to eat when you place that salad and pellets meal in front of him, it's a sign you need to take a closer look at your bunny. Remember, it's not twice the amount of daily greens or salad. You're still feeding the daily amount of salad and pellets that's appropriate for your rabbit's weight. You're just splitting it into 2 portions. There are 2 meal times instead of 1. I've been teaching this method for many years. These 2 observational built-in well checks every single day and for every single rabbit are very beneficial. It's helped me catch problems very quickly rather than waiting until symptoms escalate and it becomes an emergency vet visit. Since the intestinal systems of rabbits cause so many problems and even can cause death very quickly, observing them day and night as a built-in habit to your routine you're going to do anyway, it helps you catch those problems very quickly. We have to keep in mind a few things about the base nature of these animals, specifically their prey animal nature. Their prey instincts will cause them to retreat when they sense danger. Lack of excitement for a meal isn't always a health issue. For example, if there's a sudden loud noise that startles your bunny at mealtime, you'll probably see him hiding in his retreat rather than running out to eat the greens you just prepared. That's just one simple example of why a basic understanding of biology, prey nature, and body language is so important. Behavior changes are important, but they aren't always going to be an indicator that something is wrong. We have to evaluate the environment in addition to whatever the rabbit is doing. A second tip is litter box maintenance. Each time you use hay to cover your rabbit's droppings, and I advocate for hay actually in the litter box in addition to a hay feeder, make sure there are enough droppings. Over time, you get used to seeing lots of those little round poops in the litter box. If you wake up in the morning and you see that the rabbit hasn't pooped all night long, that's your signal to take a closer look. It's easy to see that when you put little bits of hay over the droppings either throughout the day or the evening before you go to bed, because you're going to bed with a clean layer of litter or hay where the rabbit's going to be pooping next. And so in the morning when you wake up, all of those fresh poops that he put in there overnight are going to be visible to you. If there are no poops after an 8 or 10 hour period of time, take a closer look at your rabbit. If he's not eating or continues not pooping, call the veterinarian. The third and final tip I wanted to share in this video today is to trust your gut instincts. When you get to know your rabbit and you learn to observe their habits day and night, you're going to be the best one to know when something's going wrong. Always err on the side of caution and get a veterinary visit scheduled if you sense that there's something going on. And if you've watched my videos for a while, you've probably heard me say this before. It's important to choose your sources carefully and make sure the information you're following aligns with the kind of life you want to provide for your rabbit. At the end of the day, rabbits are sensitive social animals and they have very specific needs. When we respect their natural behaviors and care for them with intention, they truly thrive. They can live long, happy lives with compassionate care and handling. So keep learning, stay curious, and always lead with kindness. Be gentle, knowing rabbits are fragile and they're sensitive. Your rabbit may not thank you in words, but you'll see it in their behavior, their comfort, and the quiet ways they begin to trust you and count on you.